welcome to ts009. This lesson is for a song called Allegro by Mauro Giuliani. And so before we get started, well, I want to show you that I have all the chords here, and we're going to go through the song bar by bar. And if you like this tab, you can also get it at patreon.com/ts009, and I'll have the link to that in the description of the YouTube video. And definitely subscribe to my channel on YouTube, but better yet, even go to ts009.com and subscribe to my free newsletter, and you'll instantly get a bunch of free chord sheets and really nice sheets that show all the chords and the keys of the 5 most popular keys, and a blank sheet. And finally, go to bit.ly.com or bit.ly/guitar tricks trial to get a 2-week free trial to Guitar Tricks, and that helps me out. And you can even cancel it, you still get the 2-week free trial, so everybody wins there. It's a great site. I use it myself. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to play this A minor chord. And instead of playing the full A minor that you might be familiar with like this, we're just going to use only fingers 1 and 2. So see, you're using fingers 1 and 2 because we're not actually going to play the D string. So that's what we're going to play in bar 1, A minor with fingers 1 and 2. So there we have that. And then we have all the fingering here too on the top. So we have P, I, M, and A. And if we use the pinky, that would be C, P Mac. So notice we're going to start with our thumb as we hold this chord down. And then we go to I on string 3. Then M. Then back to I. So that's the first part of measure 1. You could just say 1 and 2 and for that. These are 8th notes, 1 and 2 and. And now the second part of measure 2, we go to our A, or ring finger, and then I, then M, and then I. So try that again. A, I, M, I. So it's important to keep these fingers assigned. And some notes on technique: keep your thumb straight. So keep your thumb straight, don't bend it here. You can even kind of like hyperextend it back if that feels comfortable. These fingers are going to be just doing free free strokes, just coming straight up, always assigned I3, M2, A1. So all of measure 1 is P, I, M, I, A, I, M, I, P, I, M, I, A, I, M, I. So get that to sound nice and clean, and then we'll go to measure 2. In measure 2, we're going to keep our 2 finger down on the 2nd fret of G on that A note, and then we're just going to go back and forth, notice, between P and I, thumb and index. So that's going to look like this. We have a nice bass line. So it's, the bass line is open to 2nd fret with your 1 finger, 3rd fret with your 3 finger, and then open again. And that's, on the downbeats with your thumb, you're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So when we put all of line 1, measures 1 and 2 together, it sounds like this. Alright, so it's nice to have that pivot finger there, anchored down. And we go to measure 3 on the next line. When we play this measure, it's going to be using a D minor. And let me make sure that's up there. So we got the D minor. And again, you can get this tab by following the link on the description and joining my Patreon page. And really appreciate that. It helps out. So now when we hold this D minor, the way you probably learned D minor with fingers 1, 2, and 3, which you could do here. I prefer to kind of put the 3 finger here and then use my pinky or 4-finger. So that's the D minor I have in the chord charts. Shows fingers 2, pinky 4, and then index 1. So either way is fine. I'm just going to do my way as I teach it. So here it's all the same, except now you move your thumb down, or P, down to the open D right there, like that. So the pattern is going to be the same after that, just holding down the D minor chord. So measure 3 looks like this. P, I, M, I, A, I, M, I. Just get a nice clean sound with an even dynamic there. And like I mentioned before, have your thumb a little bit ahead of these fingers and just a nice comfortable resting position with your fingers coming straight up. And then even in measure 4, it's going to be similar to what we did in measure 2, except now we're going to be playing the bass line on the open D. So the bass line goes open, 2, 3, open. And then that's going to be on the downbeats. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you add the upbeats with that anchor finger on that A note on the 2nd fret of the G, your 2 fingers. So you go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So measures 3 and 4 together will be like this. You go P, I, M, I, A, I, M, I, P, I, P, I, P, I, P, I. So far, this 2 finger has been down on the A notes all the way through measures 1 through 4. Because notice you start with that A minor. Make sure you use that little A minor and you go. And the D minor. Alright, so let's go on to measure 5. In measure 5, we're going to go to this E. And just like the A minor, this E is going to be the same kind of a shape here, just fingers 1 and 2. Because we don't need to play the full E major, we're just playing strings 4 through 1. So this is an E note on the 2nd fret of the D, so it's still an E chord. You're just using the 4 highest or thinnest strings. So now we're going to do we're going to play the same basic pattern here again, except starting with our thumb here on the E note. So we go P, I, M, I, A, I, M, I. And now when we get to measure 6, the bass line is going to start on a fretted note, but we're holding the E down still. So you hold the E down, but as I hold the E down, if I just play the downbeats, 1, 2, 3, 4, the bass line is 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, open, all while still holding the 1 finger down. So then when you add the upbeats or the ands, you go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and like that. So measures 5 and 6 together sound like this. And one other note, when you move from all these chords, make sure, say you're coming from the D here doing this. Make sure you get all of those notes clean in between the chord transitions from like measures 4 to 5. Don't skip over any notes, so just take it as slow as you need to at first. Alright, when we get to again, measure 7, we're going to play an A minor / C. So let's go up to that chord to take a look at it. A minor / C. We're going to be playing the same, A minor shape as we played here with fingers 1 and 2. So notice that that's the same right there. And then we're just going to take our 3 finger and put it on the 3rd fret of the A, which is a C. So that just means that you're playing an A minor, but the / means that C is in the bass. So C is now the bass note right there. So that's the chord we're going to use here. And notice it's going to be using a similar pattern again when we play measure 7. We go P, I, M, I, A, I, M, I. And then instead of doing a bass line like we have been, we're just going to go right to another chord and play the pattern again. So this is kind of a mouthful. G sharp diminished / B. Let's go up to the chord charts and see what that looks like. So let's just take it one finger at a time. And this is what you're going to do if you change the chord at first. You're going to want to take your 2 finger. So you're going to start at the lowest note. So 2 finger on the 2nd fret of the A on the B note. And then you're going to take your 1 finger on the 1st fret of the G. So there's a G sharp. And then your 4 finger or pinky to the 3rd fret of the 2 string or the B string. So that note is a D. So there's your G sharp diminished / B. Oh, and I just noticed something. That should be open, but it shows the fingering there. So let's go ahead and play this. You just have to, get used to transitioning from this A minor / C. You go bam, then lift your 1 finger up 1 string, then put your pinky down. So move your 2 finger, lift, or 2 finger, raise your 1 finger, pinky goes down. And eventually those can all move together. But at first you can do it in steps like that. So here's the same pattern. P, I, M, I, A, I, M, I. Just like that. Alright, and then we're going to go back, and measures 9 and 10 are the same as measures 1 and 2. So we don't have to do that again. Measures 11 and 12 are the same as measures 3 and 4. So we don't have to do that again. And you know what? I'm going to leave also on the Patreon page a wave file for you to practice to nice and slow with the metronome beat for the Patreons who are supporting Tip Jar Guitar. So I think I'll call that the Tippers Club. Alright, anyway, whenever we get back to this A minor, now we're playing A minor in measure 13, but I just said full. That's not the technical name, but it's the full chord that you might be used to with A minor. So it's the full A minor. Measure 13. So A minor like this. And then we're going to go P, I, M, I, A, I, M, I. And then you keep holding that down, but now we're just going to play the E note instead of, that's an E note, but we're going to play it on the 6th string now. And then you just do the same thing after that. So there's measures 13 and 14. And these 2 measures are good ones to repeat just to get kind of a flow going. So it'll sound like this. If I repeated it, so you might notice that as I repeated that, kind of showing you how to practice it, I was speeding it up. So that's a nice way of practicing, is to rev it up a little bit. And you might make a mistake and then slow it down. So then you can rev it up and then slow it down. Good way to practice to get some speed going. So then we come to this E sus4, which is really, it's going to look like an A sus4 as well, but we're starting on the E note, so it's just like you're playing an E minor. Well, basically you lift up your 1 finger from the A minor we were just playing. So then you play the same thing that we did in measure 13, so it's this, but with the open B now. So that's measure 15, measure 16, and this is E again, but I called it easy E because all we need to do here is put your 1 finger down. So instead of playing a full E like that, we're just putting our 1 finger down because we're not going to use these notes D on the D string and A string. So that's going to sound like this. So if I played measures 13 through 16, it would sound like this. So just take that nice and slow, and you should have no problems with that. And now let's go to finally getting to the ending of the song here. So that is going to be measure 17, And what we're going to do here is go between A minor and E7. So we're going to use this little A minor again with fingers 1 and 2. My thumb is going to be on the open A on the 5 string. And we go P-M, or P-I-M-A. That's 1 and 2 and. P-I-M-A, 1 and 2 and. Then we're going to go and hop the one finger up to the first fret of the G and then put your pinky down on the 3rd fret. You might notice that that's an E7. So we're playing it with no 5th, but it's just these 2 fingers because we're not playing the A and the D string. So then this part will, from where my cursor is, will be. So measure 17 is a split measure between 2 chords. You have A minor, E minor, or E7, no 5th. Again. And then when we get to measure 18, it's almost the same, except we're not going to play our pinky on the 3rd fret of the B when we go to the E again. So again, I called that easy E. It's just an E. So this one's a little easier. You go like this: A minor, E, or sorry, A minor. Don't forget to move that bass line to E. So again. Alright, so when I put measure 17 and 18 together, it sounds like this. A minor, E7, A minor, just E. Alright, now you do that again in measures 19 and 20, so nothing new there. Same thing, we don't have to repeat that. And then at the end, here you can just take your finger and put it on the 2nd fret there of the G, on that A note, and then pinch with the A. So you're playing an A octave here. So that's all there is to it. Hope you enjoyed this lesson. Like I said, I'll put a practice track on the Patreon page. You can also get the guitar profile there and the PDF to print out. And again, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and subscribe to my free newsletter at tipjarguitar.com. And go ahead and try that Guitar Tricks trial. Like I said, it's an amazing site. Sign up for 2 weeks. You can even cancel right away. Still get the 2 weeks. I get my little affiliate bonus, so I appreciate that so much. And I hope you enjoyed this lesson. And take care. Bye.